All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Niels Bantilan. I'll be standing in today for Eduardo. I'll give you a few roadmap updates. So let's dive right in. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff coming out in Flyte 1.6, which should be coming out this week. All of these are awesome. So I'll just go down the list. We're going to launch external backend plugins. Shout out to Kevin Su for driving a lot of the work here. Basically, you can write backend plugins in Python. Current state is that, or before this release, you have to write it in Go. So this just kind of opens up the floodgates for Python authored backend plugins. So just examples of things that are offered right now, right, that you could, write in Python. Just some examples of querying a Snowflake database or running a training job on SageMaker, if that's a platform you're using. And probably a whole ton of other things. Watch out for docs on how to do this. We'd love to see what the community builds with this, with this new feature. Another, Kevin Su thing is obviously other people are involved, but shout out to him for getting this out. Essentially, image spec. We'll probably have demos for all of these, right? But at a high level, image spec gives you the ability to define your container requirements kind of directly in your Flyte code. So you don't have to think about building and pushing containers anymore. You can declare it in your task definition, and Flyte will provide this PyFlyte build utility that will just do this for you. Performance as a feature. So this, a lot of this work was driven by our very own Dan Raymer. And also shout out to Jason Porter and the front end team for getting this out on the UI. But essentially, you get runtime metrics. So if you've ever been curious about how long it takes for various parts of your task, or like what Flyte is doing underneath, right? In that timeline view, we're going to provide a lot more detail on that view. And so, we'll demo this as well, probably eventually, but this is a super exciting feature. The second point, right, is there's a Flyte deck now also that will break down the task timeline as well. Improved ergonomics. This is something Ketan and I kind of worked on. We're going to continue working on. So if you run PyFlyte run on Flyte 1.6, you'll notice that things are a lot prettier. There are colors and a lot more structure on the CLI now. And we're working on better error messages. The thing that you'll notice on Flytekit, if you misspecify a type for across the tasks in your workflow, that there's just a lot more context provided to you. So it's no longer just that there's a type mismatch. It'll give you where, in which workflow, in which task, and what type mismatch was there in your code. So hopefully that gives you a little better, more information for you to fix bugs in your code. Last but not least, this is a maybe 1.6 thing. We're very close. So we'll probably get there, but we have a Torch Elastic plugin. This will be part of the existing Flytekit plugins, KF PyTorch plugin, I believe. But this allows you basically to run Torch run, which is typically run on a command line. But we have a plugin that allows you to do this straight from your task config. So there'll be a new Elastic task config object that you can specify in your tasks. And Flyte will handle all of this stuff for you. Things that this enables are distributed training using FSDP, deep speed, probably a bunch of others that we're not aware of. So look out for that.
I can add one other thing. So the goal of this has been also that you should be able to run your training code locally and make no changes literally to push it onto a 1 GPU or an 8 GPU or 16 GPU and so on kind of a cluster. And it just scales. And we've been training, fine-tuning LLMs ourselves using this, and it works really, really well. So more on that. Stay tuned. This is coming soon, and we will also have examples of fine-tuning some of the top LLMs, right, that we know of, right, Niels?
Yep. We've been hammering away at this. The one caveat there is, I guess, if you're writing plain PyTorch, you'll probably have to be aware of local rank and like things like this. But if you're using a higher level framework, for example, the Hugging Face Transformers library or PyTorch Lightning, they kind of abstract that away. So minimal code changes, basically. Moving on, we are always trying to improve our, governance and kind of processes for, informing our roadmap. So for planning 1.7 and beyond, this is more of like a call to action. If you go to the next slide, some concrete things that you can do. So we are going to be a little more diligent about looking at GitHub issues and votes on it. So if you upvote the description of an issue with a thumbs up, we're going to look at that. We're not promising that it'll make it to the roadmap, but we'll definitely use this as feedback to figure out. If you just look at this top one, right, failure node support, it's been around since 2021. Probably a strong signal that we should look into that. But this is something you can do as a community member. You can just, there are kind of ton of issues, but if you like search through and thumbs up things that you're interested in getting into the Flyte code base features and whatnot, we'd love for you to start doing that. Another thing you can help us do with relating to planning is writing or voting on RFC incubator discussions. So this is in the discussion section of the Flyte repo, there's a special RFC incubator. This is meant to be kind of a lightweight idea brainstorming kind of dump for you to write an RFC. It's kind of like a soft categorization of what counts as an RFC. Roughly, it's like a big effort, right? And we don't exactly know. So if you write the ideas down here, we can help you assess whether it's an issue, just a plain issue, or an actual RFC. And I think this is the last slide is joining the contributor meetup. So just another call to action. We have a contribute channel in the Flyte Slack. We have a meeting every other Thursday. The next one is next week at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST. So David runs these, and these are great for you to express your ideas, the RFCs that is, and we'll kind of discuss and hammer out specifics. And that's it for updates.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Niels, for the information, for the shout outs to the many ways to give your feedback and contribute back to the project. So that's awesome. Cool. Even related to this, the recent changes we've been doing to the governance and contribution experience, etc. It gained the attention of the AI and Data Foundation, and even that escalated to the Linux Foundation, and it's been showcased today. I'm sharing the link here in the chat. I collaborated with some Linux Foundation folks to kind of showcase the story on not only what is Flyte, but how we are in the process. It's not perfect, but we are in the process of improving the contributor experience, trying to lower the barriers for contribution. And that's great. Thank you all for your support. Cool. Any further comment? No. Right. Thank you, Niels.